I love you. Okay.
So, Together came out last week. Finally got a chance to see it tonight. Director and writer Michael Shanks, along with a real-life couple, Dave Franco and Allison Brie, and Damon Harriman, have brought us an absurdist body horror romance that I was not expecting at all. I went into this film after watching one trailer, I think, and the imagery in the trailer really kind of clued me. It had me thinking that this was going to be just a purely horrific, absolutely horrific film. I thought the body horror was going to be grotesque. I was right. I thought that the imagery and the sound design was going to be revolting. Some of it is. What I was not expecting and what I was extremely surprised and happy to find was the level of humor and just sweetness in this film. So just to give a basic rundown, Dave Franco plays a musician whose career hasn't really taken off yet. And we'll refer to him from here on out as boy partner Tim. Allison Brie plays an elementary school teacher. And they decide to take a step away, move out of their big city life, and move into the country. And once they get there after hiking, they find some oddities out in the woods, and then things just start to go a little weird. Now, this isn't... A lot of people, I think, are going to look at this movie and look at the fact that it's body horror and immediately just turn away from it, right? Folks that were grossed out by, The Fly or The Substance, right? They're not going to watch this movie. This is it's an effective take on body horror, but it's not a disgusting take on body horror, right? This is not Walrus. This is not The Human Centipede or 2 or 3 or however many of those movies end up getting made. This is a story of two people who have been together for all of their adult lives, who feel that they have gotten complacent in their relationship and are attempting to find ways to either rebuild that bond or to just understand that they've reached a point of no return and that it's just time to call it quits. I took my wife to see this film. Walking out, her main thing was that was fucking weird. And it is. It is an absurd film. There is a lot of practical effects here that are done very, very well. There is some CGI here that is also done pretty well. I wish there had been a little bit more reliance on practical effects. That being said, the scale of what they're attempting to do here would have been outrageously expensive. And between Neon and 30 West and some of the other companies that they had working on this, I just don't know that they would have had the budget to be able to do so and to expect a realistic return on their investment. This is not going to be one of those movies that is winning awards and is, making millions of dollars, domestically or internationally. I just don't think it's that kind of movie. It's slick and it's glossy, but it has a very, very indie feel, which I feel like Neon has done a very, very good job of maintaining. We'll see how they do with some of the new stuff that's coming along, some of their bigger adaptations and whatnot. But they did a solid job with this film of really letting the relationship of the main characters drive everything that happens, to include the effects that are needed and everything else. It's just a solid love story in a really twisted way. This takes the idea of codependency and just flips it. Like it keeps turning and turning that screw and driving into it until it just becomes this laugh out loud, absurd look at what two people become in a relationship.
Whiskey for the pain.
And let's be honest, the trailer gives you a lot. But it's just good. Dave Franco is somebody who I've always been kind of back and forth on. His brother I'm the same way with. Has done some good stuff, done some bad stuff. This, I think, was very good. Alison Brie is outstanding in this movie. She brings a level-headedness to it that is both antagonistic at times, but also is very, very realistic. And the movements that this goes through, right? So Act 1 is a very, I don't want to call it cookie cutter because some of the ideas here are very different, but it is horror. It's psychological horror. It's body horror. There's a scene in the first 15 minutes of the movie that kind of harkened back to The Thing for me from a visual standpoint. But it was, it wasn't toned down, but it was handled with class. It wasn't real in your face. It wasn't long and drawn out. It wasn't blood spurts everywhere and just insanity. It was one shot, one effect, and they stuck on it for maybe half a second to a second, just enough to show you this is where this is going, right? And it follows that course for the first, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes of the hour and 45-minute runtime, give or take. But when the stuff really hits the fan, you really start to see, one, the level of on-screen chemistry that these two main stars have, which sometimes just doesn't work with real-life couples, right? But they feel like they brought their actual history into these roles, right? Like I could see them having these kinds of disagreements and these kind of arguments as their relationship evolved in real life. It felt, as absurd as it was, it felt real.
I think you should sleep in the spare room tonight.
I agree. We need to keep our distance.
Second act, it takes a almost comedy approach. Not visually. Visually, it's still intense. It's still frightening. It's still a body horror film. But the dialogue and the dialogue delivery was so natural between two people that had just spent years together. That, I mean, my wife and I sitting next to each other, the three young women that were sitting behind us, a couple way back in the corner, we were just laughing out loud at some of the things that were said, and less and more so the delivery and the earnestness of it than the written dialogue itself. It was just very, very good. The third act, to me, is where they bring everything together. You find out what you learn the mechanics of what's going on, and it's interesting. They don't tell you so much that it reaches a that couldn't possibly happen approach. But they give you just enough to say, just enough for you to understand the entirety of the plot of the movie, right? This isn't, this isn't some overcooked, exposition heavy third act where your villain, which I don't even know if there is a villain in this film really, is sitting there giving you a monologue about, well, this and that, and, the ancient Greeks, blah, 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 blah. There is explanation there, but it's not done in a heavy-handed monologue style that makes you sit there and go, Jesus Christ, like, is this guy ever going to shut up? Are we ever going to actually get on with the movie? And it takes some turns in that last act that I was not expecting. But as it did before, moving from scary body horror into body horror comedy, the third act is very clearly a romance. It is about two people learning to find themselves in each other. And you can, knowing that this is a body horror film and watching the trailers, you can do with that information what you will. I will tell you that what you think is going to happen is only partially right. But for me, this is very much I would put this around a 3.5 to a 4 out of 5 for me. I'm happy I went to see it. I'm happy I took my wife to see it and that she seemed to enjoy it for the absurdity that it is. And I would, if someone were to put this on, I would not be upset to sit and watch it again. I don't know that I would choose to watch it again because body horror is not necessarily a type of film that I find myself gravitating to very often. But historically, body horror has always been a very, very good way to show the relationship between people and their environments or people and their loved ones. The Thing and The Fly being the two that I think just run away with it. The Substance may get there. I'm leaving it off right now just because of recency bias. I want to give that one some time to breathe before I throw it into that category. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend this to any fan of the genre, and not the body horror genre, but the horror genre. If this is playing anywhere near you, go check it out, and let me know what you think. So that's about all I've got for today. Another short review about a pretty solid film. Eventually we'll find one here that I don't care so much for, and I'll run it through the ringer. But so far it's been a good year. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Please leave comments. I got one comment on another video that said boring. Good to know. I'll liven things up a little bit. But yeah, that helps. It helps the channel get out there, and it helps people. It helps me. So please, if you have the opportunity to comment, if you're willing to comment and have some conversations about these films, let me know. I throw up polls every once in a while to determine some of the videos that are going to be coming up. And yeah, I'd love a chance to meet and talk to everybody. So that's about it. So other than that, my standard plug for the Dad Feelin' Podcast Network. Be sure to check out No Gimmicks, Eat the Cake Anime, the Smoke Pit Podcast, the United States Department of Nerds, or USDN, Cutting Edge Hero. There's a big weekend coming up for wrestling with SummerSlam coming up, so No Gimmicks is going to be running some recaps and shows on that. BCP Plus is a group of people that the DFPN work with from time to time on very, very genres of information. So be sure to check those guys out, and that's about all I got. So until next time, get away from your computer, go sit in a room and watch a movie, or watch a movie at your computer. But whatever you do, watch a movie. Get away from the real world for a little while and settle in, grab a drink, enjoy some entertainment. Thanks. We'll see you next time.